Here, and I'm sorry, sir, if I missed you. I'll come back up to you where you're okay. All right.
My name is Leman Palmer. I happen to be a land use planning consultant from Kitsap County and Pierce County, and not from Jefferson. But I do happen to be somewhat familiar with Snow Creek. However, the comments that I want to make have to do with my fears of what might be set here in the way of a precedent that would ultimately affect Kitsap County and portions of Pierce County, particularly in and around the area that I reside, which is in Big Harbor. Now, I'm looking at your tour of faults, your first tour of faults on the left over here, and I'm really concerned about a statement that said that starts with the red letters but. There is little or no precipitation during summer, causing very low flows in August and September. And that sounds like a pretty innocuous statement and probably true, but what it lacks is historical context. I suspect, although I have obviously not studied it in detail, but I suspect that this has been true for 100 to 200 years, that you've had low stream inflows. And what I have witnessed, I'm sorry to say, Department of Ecology's efforts in other venues like the Shoreline Master Program development. Too often testimony or comments such as I'm making and other gentlemen have made are recorded and nothing ever happens, and unless somebody takes you to task and takes you to court. That's what happened when the shoreline rules were being developed, and I suspect that that's probably going to be necessary in this context as well. I don't see any reason to change the existing rule, period. I don't believe that you can show a historical continuity between low in-stream flows and well water drawdowns by existing wells. I don't think you can show that. And I doubt seriously that you've got any studies that document that as a causal factor. And the rule is arbitrary. Where did the 500-gallon conservation rule come from? Why isn't it 1,000 or 2,000? Then you haven't documented anything I've seen in the literature. Maybe it exists, but you didn't present anything in this presentation, and I suspect it doesn't exist. And I do have other comments, but I'll let somebody else speak before I get to my other comments and questions.
Okay. Tom?
Well,
and I'm not sure if your microphone is working. Just come and use this one.
can you hear me?
No. Shut yours off. Let's just use this one.
Yeah. Again, I think this is worthless. I'm afraid of responding.
Could you speak up?
Speak a little bit close to you. For fear of responding to a comment with a comment, I don't want to sound like I'm arguing with anyone. But a few points. You made one point about naturally low flows for 100 years. We have 3 groundwater hydrologists over here. Here's Schwartzman, Tom, Elaine, Kerhunger. I know Tom and Peter are familiar with the systems, and my sense is they would probably agree with you on that. I see heads nodding, so I don't know that anyone challenges that there's naturally low flows. The 500-gallon a day, I see the point you're making, why not 100, why not 600, why not 800? We looked at average high use in the area from PUD figures. Close to PUD, Jefferson PUD service areas, close to 350 gallons a day. We did some analysis on what 500 would get you. In fact, it's in part of the handout we have.
I read it
here, and explains that. So we want to make sure it wasn't, that it was more than most people use in the area. But Yes, there could be other numbers that could be used. This one makes sense for the area based on use and consistent with, for example, in Snohomish County, it was the 12th of an acre irrigation, and we tried that out. It wasn't very popular in this area, so we tried something else.